Welcome back to Virtual Booth 101. At Modern, we've been doing virtual booths for a while now, as we were one of the early adopters of the service. We're actively booking virtual booths at the moment, which has allowed us to bring back and maintain all 5 of our full-time staff. Common questions that I've heard about virtual booth is, no one's going to use this. I don't understand. How is this different from taking a selfie? I can't make enough money off virtual booths. And what the heck is a virtual booth? Well, today I'm going to answer all of those questions and more, and I'm specifically going to be answering these 3 questions. What is a virtual booth, how to market it, and how to price your virtual booth. A virtual booth brings all of the automation of a photo booth directly to your phone. You might be wondering why anyone would want to use this instead of just taking a selfie, and there's many reasons why. Virtual booth provides a lot of automation that most people can't provide on their own. Sure, anyone can take a selfie on their phone, but who's going to brand it with an overlay? Will they actually send it anywhere? And who's going to upload it to a gallery? It's a very impersonal interaction. With a virtual booth, people get to feel like they're part of the event as they get guided through a beautifully branded experience. You can also pull analytics and shares as well as emails, so your clients can send out thank you emails to everyone afterwards. I'll go over some features a little bit more in detail a little later, but I think for you to fully understand how virtual booth works, we need to see it in action. After you've set up your virtual booth, you'll get a unique URL which you can share with your client and their guests, but I'm going to walk you through the entire experience. The first thing people are going to see is a permission to use the camera, and then there's going to be a countdown with a live view, just like you would have with a photo booth. Once the picture is taken, you're going to select your overlay, which you can have multiple overlays, and then you're going to email yourself the picture. Once you receive the email, it's going to be beautifully branded. You can have all the content you want in here, call to action buttons, as well as a link to the gallery. So you can see all the other pictures from the event. Before we go into details about how to market your photo booth, I think we really need to understand the current state of the market. So let's look at some of the most popular events and where they stand right now. I found this chart on Wedding Wire and I thought it was really great. Mind you, this information came in from 2019, but still, 20% of 2020 weddings were set for October and 10% for September. That means that 30% of weddings are still about to happen. And you might think that all of those weddings were canceled due to COVID, but a good chunk of them were not. They were postponed, or in many situations, people opted to do a micro wedding or a gap wedding. A gap wedding is when they do an actual ceremony on their date in order to keep their date and then do the larger ceremony later on. After all, 2020 is a pretty cool wedding date to have in general, but 10, 10, 20 is even better, which you can see from that chart is the #1 date. The problem is that many people aren't traveling out of state and definitely not out of country, so many of the weddings have no way to interact with their original guest list on the day of. Live streaming the wedding is one thing, but people want to take part in celebration, and there's no better way to do that than with a branded photo booth. And if you think that virtual booths are just going to be a fad, they're not. The future might not be fully virtual, but the hybrid is definitely here to stay. I sit on a lot of planner groups, and they have all said that while this year they're planning virtual events until the end of the year, next year, everything that they're planning for is in person with a virtual component. So get ready for virtual booths to be an extension of real events for the foreseeable future. Birthday parties are another one that look very different this year. Grandparents and older adults aren't able to join in the festivities, and a lot of people are sticking within their bubbles. Having a virtual booth at a birthday party will be a great way to make a person's birthday much better and have them feel like people are actually thinking of them on that day. In this example of the photo booth, you'll see that the branding is actually to the photo booth company, and then the overlay is branded to the party itself. Now, this video is a little sped up just so that you don't end up watching the whole thing. It's a little bit slower in person. Holiday parties. A lot of companies have opted out of having people work in offices, and instead people are now working from home. All of the holiday parties that we normally would be doing from November to December are not happening as companies don't want to risk bringing their staff together. What they are looking for is a solution to offer to their staff that will make them feel more involved and engaged once again. And this has to be done in a virtual setting like a Zoom meeting or a virtual meeting. Let's use weddings as an example. These are just 2 virtual booth products that you can easily offer your wedding clients. You can create a photo booth where people can share images for the couple to look back on of all of the remote guests that are celebrating with them. Giving people the link to the photo booth gives them a chance to really feel like part of the celebration, even if they can't physically be there. And they get to do it all from the comfort of their home. The branded email sent to each guest is also going to give them an opportunity to see all the other people's images and perhaps see some old friends that they haven't seen in a while. Of course, you can always make the gallery private if that's what you prefer. Another great option is a video guest book where people can leave a message for the couple. It's actually very hard to compile video testimonials in one place. And with this virtual booth, you can do that for all your clients easily. Their guests will be able to leave a couple, one or maybe a few videos that are maybe up to 15 seconds long, giving them the best wishes or maybe some advice, because we all love advice. At the end of the night, your couple will have a beautiful branded live gallery with a collection of all the videos that their guests have left for them. They can share it or they can choose to keep it private for themselves. Understanding all of the options you can offer to your clients is important because people have literally no idea what is out there. Let's look at the traditional photo booth. They've been around for decades and people still don't understand all of the capabilities and are blown away at something as simple as an instant print. One of the other great features is that if you're doing an in-person event that also needs to have a virtual component to it, all of the images that you take on your virtual booth will be combined with the images at your live event. So you don't even need to have two separate events. This is also something that you can charge extra for by having the virtual booth add-on. And here's just a sample of what the live gallery will look like for your virtual booth. A little bit different since we can't control the backdrop, but it's still very fun. So how are you going to get the message out? Marketing strategies are super important, and I'm going to share with you three tips on how to do it the right way. Email marketing is the first one. Even if you only have 2 or 3 contacts on your list, email them. Make a list of all the planners you know, all the weddings that were postponed, or the ones that you currently have on the books for the future, or maybe even for past years. Just because someone has already had their wedding doesn't mean they don't know a friend that's getting married in 2020. Write out all the announcement emails telling people about this innovative new product that you have that is going to solve this big virtual problem of 2020 and 2021 weddings. And don't be scared to email people, but please make sure that you do follow your local laws and don't spam people. So for an example, we actually just sent out an email earlier this week to 120 of our contacts. And this was the second virtual booth announcement that we had made. And after 3 days, we got 4 big leads on it. Our wedding one is actually going out next week, and I'm really pumped to see what we get out of that one too. For social media, it's all about posting often. The booth is literally on your phone, so you have no excuse for not having content. Grab a screen recording of you using the booth, post it on all your medias, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever you want. The key is to do it more than once. Posting about it every couple of days to make sure that people get a good idea and understanding of what you offer. But from my experience, it takes 3 to 4 times of someone seeing something to actually retain and understand it when it's on social media. Last but not least is to set up a sample on your website. People do not understand virtual. For example, how many of you are here because you didn't understand what a virtual booth was either, and you came here to learn? Setting up a simple virtual booth on your site is easy. You can just link it directly to a button, or you could even embed it using an iframe. When people land on your site, always try and set up a pop-up so that you can actually lead them directly to your virtual booth and have them demo it right away. I borrowed Mike's website, thank you, Mike, and made a little edit to show just how easy it is to add a button on your website directly on the front page to direct people to try your virtual booth. Mike uses Page Cloud for his site, which means that adding that little button is super easy and probably would take about 15 seconds to make that change. All right, let's get into pricing. I feel like a lot of people don't understand that what a virtual booth can do, and therefore don't appreciate the value that it has. While virtual booths can be cheaper, it's not by that much. And yeah, there's no hardware involved in it, but there is still a lot of physical design and time that goes into setting up a virtual booth properly. Our virtual booths start at $500 a day. And if you think that you can't get quote unquote real money for virtual booths, you're wrong. We've done a few now, and our average is about $1,200 for a 2-day virtual booth. And our biggest one is coming up and is over $7,000. A wedding photo booth that runs for 2 hours is the exact same amount of work as an entire day. That's why we charge $500 for the first day and then a smaller fee for additional days, since the majority of the work has already been done. If you want to offer a virtual booth that is at a lower price point, then you could consider doing a templated booth. And what this means is that you create a default design, and the only change that you're going to make is to the couple's name. Something like that, I would be comfortable pricing it around $300 to $350 for the day, since there's minimal design work involved in a template for virtual booth. Here are some upsells that you can think about as well. You can also always offer prints after an event, or even make an album of all the photos that were in the gallery. This is a great way to increase your revenue. You know, we've done a birthday party before. Well, at the end of it, they ended up printing all 200 plus pictures from the booth. Just like any other booth, whether live or not, you need to charge your worth. Do not undervalue yourself as a professional. And please, like, people have no clue how to automate this entire process, and don't take that for granted. After all, you are dedicating the next 2 days to be here with us at Virtual Booth Summit, and you're taking the time to play with your virtual booth and understand how best it will fit the needs of your clients. You're going to create designs, redo them, because let's be honest, they're probably not going to like the first one. You're going to test, monitor all of the stuff on top of all the admin work that you have to do. So please charge your worth. I know that the next question everyone has is, what platform should I use? Well, guys, you are in for a nice surprise, because today Photobooth Supply Co. is announcing the release of their very own virtual booth. This virtual photo booth is currently in beta, and for a very limited time, available for free on your Salsa App Pro subscription. Now, it's set to come out next week, but you want to be prepared for it now. If you are an existing Salsa App Pro owner, you will get access to the virtual booth directly on your web app portal. If you are currently not a Salsa Booth subscriber, then I'm going to let you in on a little workaround. If you go to the App Store today and sign up for Salsa App Pro subscription, you'll not only get access to the Salsa App Pro for physical events for free for the next 30 days, but you're also going to get the Salsa virtual photo booth. This is amazing for so many reasons. You get 30 days to create unlimited virtual booth events for absolutely free. And remember that once this free trial is over, there's likely going to be a charge for this. So make sure that you take full advantage of this free offer. Start creating demos, send them to all your current clients, past clients, planners, play with the virtual booth, and become absolute expert on it. This offer won't be around for long, so make sure you sign up for Salsa app today so that you can start taking advantage of your totally free booth. Actually, Amber, maybe you can link the App Store link for the Salsa app in the comments so people can check it out now, but you don't need to worry about it either. If you don't have time to do it now, we will send out a link in an email afterwards. If you know Photobooth Supply Co., then you are very aware of how quickly they release updates for the Salsa app. So the virtual booth that you're going to see next week is just going to get better and better as the days go by. Now, if you aren't currently a Salsa booth owner and want to take advantage of being able to use Salsa booth with your virtual booth at the same time, well, PBSCO is also going to be offering a limited time sale at the end of, that's going to end at the end of Virtual Booth Summit, which is tomorrow. You're going to save $250 off of a Salsa booth, plus you will also get the access to the free virtual booth marketing material watermarked film, which is going to be a film that is all about how to show your clients how virtual booth works, and it will be watermarked with your logo. Okay, so we are going to try it out for ourselves. I would love it if you guys could all go to this URL and take a picture so that we can all see who is at Booth Summit right now. While you guys do that, I am going to go and start looking at some of your questions, and I will be right back.